Good morning. Good morning. We are settling onto the mat and have probably 3 minutes before we get going. So, a nice amount of time today to make our space, to gather anything we may need, and to kind of begin to center ourselves before our practice. First, making our way onto the mat. If you'd like any blocks or straps or bolsters or blankets nearby, now it's a great time to grab those and set them nearby. And you can use this time for gentle movement, kind of beginning to build that awareness. Or you could sit quietly, centering the mind, becoming more present in the moment. Use it however you like. You'll probably have about 2 minutes. Oh, pardon me. And we're still coming onto the mat, just making our space. We are going to begin in a child's pose if you wanted to head that way. We still probably have another minute or so. And we'll start making our way toward that child's pose. Toes together or near one another. Knees can be near one another, or you can take them wide to the edges of the mat, yogi's choice. And we'll start to slowly melt down. The belly might rest on the thighs. It might melt in between them, depending upon where you set the legs. We can stretch the arms overhead to begin, and then soften them, settling the elbows and the shoulders. You could make a little pillow for the forehead here with fists or palms. If instead of having arms overhead, your legs are together and you'd like to wrap the arms down alongside body, you can. So lots of variations, lots of ways to explore the shape. Find a little ease through the shoulders. Let the hips settle toward the heels. Notice how the body is feeling. Just checking in, getting a sense of where you are today in this moment. Feel the foundation beneath you, the air around you. Notice any sounds as you become more present of this moment. As you draw attention in, to check in with the self, to notice where the mind is this morning. Invite it to be present here with you, letting go of the to-do list, the worries, the planning. Know that you are right where you need to be. Taking a little moment to connect mind, body, and breath. Notice the inhales and exhales as you breathe through the nose. See if you can find a nice steady rhythm. The body gently rising and falling. If the head is resting, or if the arms are down alongside body, stretch them back overhead. There's a little space between the head and the mat. Palms are in the mat. The arms stretch forward, beginning to activate the shoulders that stretch through side body. And then when you're ready, walk the hands over to the right, settling the body back down as we create a lovely stretch through the left side. Walk the hands back to center and journey over to the left as you settle in. Keep the hips resting. The breath helping us create space through the ribs. Hands come back to center. We'll inhale up and all the way down onto the belly, chin to the mat. The tops of the feet are down. Create a little space between the feet. Hands under shoulders. We'll inhale up, chin and collarbone, a baby cobra. Exhale as you release down. Inhale, baby cobra. Begin to activate our back muscles. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale as you release. Take a breath. Inhale up, baby cobra. Exhale as you release. We'll bring the hands down alongside body. We'll bend at the right knee as we lift the right foot off the mat. Thigh stays connected down. And we'll let the foot fall in toward the body. So you can stay right here, letting the weight of the foot help create a little stretch through the leg. Or you could reach back with the right arm or right hand. Grab onto the right foot and gently draw it in closer. Again, keeping that thigh on the mat. Creating a nice stretch through the front of the leg. If you're holding on to the foot, we'll go ahead and release as we settle it back to the mat. Bend the left knee as we get left foot off the mat. And again, same thing this side. You can let the weight of the foot drop toward the rear, creating a stretch. Or you could take the left hand, hold on to that foot and gently draw it in a little closer, mindful of how your body is feeling this morning. We're still just warming up, finding little movement, keeping our focus on the breath. We'll gently release. Settle that foot back on the mat, hands under shoulders. We'll press up to a tabletop, somewhere near the center of the mat. Shoulders over wrist, hips over knees as best we can. Nice long line as we gaze at the mat. And on an inhale, lower belly, lift gaze. Exhale as we round and arch. Little cat-cow, lowering on the inhale as we look forward. Exhale as we arch the back, looking into the navel. And just continue at your own breath pace for a few rounds. We'll take one more full round and then meet back at our neutral spine. From here, we'll fly the right foot, press through that heel. Bring the foot forward, trying not to scrape it on the mat as we come into a low lunge. The right foot is planted forward, the knee is stacked over the ankle, maybe a little behind it. Try not to let that knee journey really far beyond the ankle. Hips are staying nice and low. You should feel a good stretch through the front of that left hip. Hands are on the mat, framing the foot, or if you have blocks, you could set those on the side of the foot as well. One more breath here. Start to shift the hips back. Heel stays connected to the mat as we find a hamstring stretch. Right leg straightens a bit. You can keep a bend at that knee if needed. Listening to the back of your leg. Well, tension's all right, but if you feel anything pinpointed, gently back out. We'll walk the hands forward as we plant the right foot back on the mat. Curl the left toes, lift off of that knee. Runner's lunge for one breath. We'll drop that back foot to about a 45. We inhale up, arms reach to the sky. So we've got a generous bend at the right knee. Knee is in line with the toes. Back foot is fully rooted into the mat, set at about a 45-degree angle. We're square to the short edge of our mat as best we can. And arms are at that lovely V, palms shining toward one another. Fingers are spread. Notice if you're scrunching the shoulders up. If you are, drop them down. Create a little space between the shoulders and the ears. And the arms don't have to be perfectly straight. On an exhale, release the hands. We'll drop them, interlace the hands behind the back if you can, drawing the shoulder blades a little closer together. If interlacing the hands isn't serving you, you could just shine those palms toward one another, creating a nice shoulder opener here. And from here, we'll head to humble warrior. So with control, take right shoulder toward right knee. Long spine. Take your time. Both feet stay rooted down. Nice and controlled. Strong in our foundation. So stabilizing muscles, helping us move here. We press into that right foot and lift up. Release the hands. You can give the shoulders a little wiggle. We'll straighten that front leg and spin the back left foot to about a 90-degree angle. We'll take the arms out at a T. Palms are down toward the mat. One hand forward, one hand back. Flip the palms to the side wall. And then windmill over. Right hand goes toward right shin or thigh. Left hand reaches to the sky. If having that left hand high isn't serving you, you can have it on the hip. If you don't want to have shins or thigh, definitely avoid the knee. You can float that right hand inside the leg as well. We want to keep a nice open heart. Sometimes we have a tendency to round here. Stay nice and open. Gaze can be up at the extended hand or the ceiling if that hand is on hip, or at the side wall. I find if you look down, it kind of encourages that shoulder to fall in. On an inhale, we'll lift up. Exhale as we release the hands. Spin the right toes to the long edge of the mat. Nice wide angle stance. We'll take hands to hips, long spine, hinge forward. Try and keep a flat back as long as you can. And when you can't keep that flat back anymore, go ahead and release the hands as you fold forward, letting the crown of the head point toward the mat. You can have hands underneath the head and shoulders, just kind of on the mat. If you'd like to deepen the stretch a little bit, you can walk them through the legs, gently drawing the body into the fold a bit more. You could also do this by holding on to feet, toes, ankles. Totally optional. Nice steady breath. Begin to activate the core as we come up to half lift. Find that flat back and then rise all the way up. Coming to standing, we'll take a breath here. Heel toe the feet together. Head toward the back of the mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, that 7 shape. Exhale as you release. Start to walk the hands out as you come to high plank. You can lower to the knees here if you like. Elbows tight to the body as we lower through chaturanga to the belly. Uncurl the toes. Inhale up to your cobra. Exhale as you release. Curl the toes. Press the hips up and back. Down dog. We'll hold here for a few breaths. Fingers are spread. We've got a nice grip on the mat. Heels are reaching to the earth, though they don't have to touch it. Trying to find a flat back as best we can. And then we'll lower the knees, uncurl the toes, settle hips to heels, child's pose. 2 breaths here. On an inhale, we'll rise up, finding our tabletop, that nice neutral spot centered on our mat. Nice flat back. We'll fly the left foot. Press through that heel. Core is engaged. Scoop the belly as you bring the left foot forward. Low lunge. Make any little adjustments you need to. Checking that bone stack. And then drawing awareness down to the right hip and the front of the right leg. Always aware of our foundation as we draw the gaze forward. The exhale helps us find a little ease. With control, start to shift the hips back as you rotate on that left heel, coming into your hamstring stretch. Take your time, scanning from heel to hip, checking in with the body as you come into the shape. Only sit the hips back as far as you want, or your body wants. Sometimes our mind wants something our body is not quite there for. And gently walk the hands forward as we plant the left foot back on the mat. Hands are framing it, our nice foundation as we curl the right toes, lift off of that knee, runner's lunge for 1 breath. plant the back foot at 45 as we inhale up to warrior one. And again, as you come into the shape, take a moment, check your foundation. Both feet firmly rooted down. Back foot's at about 45, got that nice bend at the front knee. Body is squarish to the front of the mat. Our arms reach high. Maybe a little wiggle through the fingers. Maybe we invite in a little smile here. A nice uplifting posture as we open the heart. Release in the shoulders, release at the elbows. On an exhale, release the hands, bringing them around behind you. Again, you can interlace the fingers, drawing the knuckles down and the shoulder blades together. If that doesn't serve you, you can draw the hands around behind you and just shine the palms toward one another. Thumbs are down, shoulder blades still draw together. If you have a strap, you could also hold that. Lots of options. With control, left shoulder toward left knee, humble warrior. Nice and controlled as we lower down, stopping when you need. Both feet stay planted. Gaze drops down to the mat. Moving with us here. Continue to breathe. We'll press into the left foot as we lift up. Release the hands and shake out the shoulders a bit. We'll straighten that front leg. Drop that back foot to about 90. Arms go out. That nice T. Hands at shoulder height. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Palms down. Flip the hands so the palms are now at the sidewall. And then windmill over. Remembering our options. Lower hand can float inside. Can challenge our core a little bit. Can go to shin or thigh for a little external support. If you have a block, it could also hold that just inside the leg here. Right hand, the upper hand reaches tall. Or maybe it's on that shoulder as we keep the heart open. Easy breath, nice and steady. Inhale up, rotating back. Drop the hands, spin the right toes to the long edge of the mat. I'm going to spin myself all the way around to meet you guys. We're back in that nice wide angle stance. Hands to hips, hinge forward. Flat back as best we can until we fold down. Hands drop to the earth. We'll inhale slightly. We're not lifting all the way up. We'll start to walk the hands to the right as we bend the right knee. Left leg stays straight, foot planted down, creating a lovely stretch for that inner left leg. Press into the right foot to help lift yourself back up, walking the hands through center, and then over to the left. Left knee bends, right leg is straight. Feel that nice stretch through the inside of the right leg. Press into the left foot as we walk the hands back to center. Hold down, take a breath. Engage the core as you come to half lift, and then rise all the way up. Taking a breath at standing. We'll turn the heels in toward the body, toes out to the edge, well, not to the edge of the mat, corners of the mat. We'll take hands to hips as we gently lower down. Nice goddess or sumo pose. You can stay right here. You can invite in a little back stretch as you drop in one shoulder and then the other. Hips are sitting only as low as your body wants. And try not to drop them too low either. We're not going to a yogi squat here. Back to center. Press into the heels as we rise up. Inhale the arms. Nice big starfish. Take up all the space. Reach the arms out. And then start to take little circles with the wrists. So we're spinning the hands as we slowly lower the arms, kind of like leaves falling down. You can switch direction. Take your time. Spinning those hands. Letting them fall down. And then finding stillness. Take a breath. Heel toe the feet together to safely come out of that and meet toward the back of the mat in our Tadasana. Feet can be hip width distance apart or toes together, heels together, yogi's choice. We'll inhale the arms up. Exhale as we forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale as you release. Plant the hands, walk them out. Find your high plank. You can lower to the knees. Elbows tight to the body as we move through chaturanga to the belly. Uncurl the toes. Inhale up to your cobra. Exhale as you release. Curl the toes. Press the hips up and back. Down dog. And shake the head a little yes and no here, a little left and right. So loosen the neck. We'll lower the knees, uncurl the toes, hips to heels, child's pose. Start to walk the hands in as we lift up. Rotate onto a favorite hip. Swing the legs around as we find a seated posture with the right leg in front of the left leg. So one is, well, they're both kind of parallel to the short edge of the mat. Give or take as best we can. So they're not stacked. One's in front of the other. We're sitting nice and tall. Keep that long spine as you walk the hands away and fold forward. So we're creating a nice stretch through the right hip. If you have left leg in front, you'll feel it on the left side. Only fold forward as far as your body wants to go. Try not to lift the hips off of the mat. Relax the feet and ankles. Relax the belly a bit. Awareness on the right hip. And start to walk the hands in as we lift up. And switch the feet. So if right leg was in front, now left leg is. You had it the opposite, you'll be the opposite. So square the leg to the short edge of the mat as best you can. Sit bones connected down. We're sitting tall. Long spine as we walk the hands away. Melting down. Each side will be a little different, so take your time as you come into the shape. Checking in continually with that hip, the low back. Find a little ease through the legs. The exhale helping you soften. One more breath here. Walk the hands in as we lift up. And just find a comfortable spot for the legs, whatever shape that is for you in a seated posture. Your legs out, legs tucked, legs crossed, do a butterfly, really whatever is serving you. Somewhere nice where we can settle in. Maybe close the eyes for just a moment. You check back in with the body, noticing the energy that you've cultivated, space that you've created. Breath is gently returning to its natural rhythm. Thank the mind for being present with us. And if you have the time and you want to take a shavasana or you want to sit here and meditate for a little while, I welcome you to do so. If you're rounding out your practice with me today, we'll flutter the eyes open. Bring hands together at heart center, sealing in our practice. I encourage you to take kind thoughts, kind words, and kind intentions with you from now until we meet again. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for our yoga practice. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And I look forward to seeing you back on the mat next Tuesday morning. Bye, y'all.